Crypto.com Crocoin holders, I've got a video for you guys. It's been crickets lately in the cronos space. Not much going on, but really, when you look at all of crypto, it's quite quiet. It is very deserted. It's a deserted land, and usually this is the best opportunity. When no one's around, that's when you make the most money. Could we go further down? Yeah, that's definitely possible. But I'm going to give you guys my take on Crypto.com and Crocoin and really the overall market here. So without further ado, welcome back to Crypto Report. I'm Blacksea. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that bell. Let's hop in this video. All right, guys. We are starting off on Crypto Twitter. Follow me at 333Blacksea. I say, the Crow fam has been crickets lately. Where are the Crocoin bulls and the Cronos family? Hello? Guys, the people that are around right now are going to be making the money. It's as simple as that. When you are figuring out what's going on in the space, and when you're around finding the projects that are building, when all the big commotion's gone, when all the hype is gone, that's how you make the best returns, all right? Now, I really want to emphasize here. Could we go further down? Yeah, that's definitely possible. Are we at the whims of the tariffs and the traditional market and the Fed? Yeah, big, unfortunately. But, you know, guys, I think that it can all switch in a moment's notice, a snap of a finger, and that's why I think it's really important to be continuing to be dialed in on the space, especially if you're trying to make some big money. I want to also reiterate that everyone has a different strategy. In all my videos, I always talk about this. You should find the strategy that works out best for you. But the strategy that works out best for me is paying attention when no one else is there. And that's really how I've capitalized on my success in crypto. So, that being said, I just want to talk about this. These burns, these Crocoin burns, and the 70 billion minting of coins. Today, Binance has burned another $916 million, basically $1 billion worth of BNB coin. And I say, if Cronos and Crypto.com were doing burns like this, it could actually save the Crow fam. I saw that there's a proposal to burn 50 million coins. It was kind of fell on deaf ears after it was like a week after the mint proposal of minting 70 billion new coins in the circulating supply. So really, it means nothing, guys. 50 million sounds like a lot, but when you compare it to 70 billion, you start to understand how large of a increase in supply that is. 70 billion coins is a lot. Now, this is not a FUD video. I'm not going to FUD Crypto.com and Crocoin. I already said, I've said my piece about the minting, but my thoughts on Crocoin and Crypto.com are, well, Chris Marzak, the CEO, he had an AMA, and he said, in a year from now, you're going to be happy with the price of Crow. That's basically what he said. And I'm not nearly as leveraged into Crypto.com and the Cronos ecosystem as I used to be, but I still have a sizable position, and I'm going to continue to hold that and see what happens. If it goes to zero, it's not going to go to zero. I'll be okay. Everyone should figure out, when it comes to investing, the moral of the story, the cliche that everyone says has the most weight to it is, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. I am willing to lose all the money that I've invested in Crocoin. Do I expect that to happen? No, not really. But I am having faith. I have faith that Chris is going to push this coin and put it into, I was about to say make Crocoin great again, but I stopped myself. But I do think that he's going to implement Crocoin into these basket ETFs, and I think that it will start to create some buy volume on Cronos and Crocoin. Time will tell, though. It could take time. It could take until Q4 2025 before we even see these Cronos ETFs. But in the meantime, it's just kind of some salt in the wound when we see all these other exchanges implementing these huge token burns, and it's like, come on. We've been asking for it. The community's been asking for it nonstop. And we even got like they said in the roadmap, in the 2025 roadmap, they were going to be implementing quarterly burns, but they didn't say they were going to be minting 70 billion coins, increasing the supply by over 100%. So just a little bit of salt in the wound. But I want to talk about Crocoin right now. We're testing a very important level of 0.0830. This is the magnet, guys. We always come back to this level here. When you break below 10 cents, you expect to test this. If you guys are leverage traders, take advantage of it, because honestly, every time we test 10 cents to the downside, we almost always come to the magnet of 0.0830. If you guys do want to take advantage of some leverage trading positions and you want to long or you want to short, you want to counter trade me, do whatever you want to do. Check out in the description box below. We have a $5,000 sign bonus to blow. And all you do is click that link, deposit, trade a little bit. You get a bunch of free money. And it's a very good leverage trading platform. I like to use it. They have a lot of awesome rewards. But as of right now, I do expect a bottom to be somewhat near before we get a little bit of relief. That being said, the traditional market is breaking down here after testing this level of 5,500, which is very, very important. We're kind of flipping it as resistance, which I'm not a huge fan of. I do expect a breakdown of maybe coming back and testing 5,000 again. And really, that will be kind of the line in the sand, really, for me. I think that if we come and test this and bounce off of it, that's a green light that, hey, there's probably a great chance that the bottom is in, because it'll be a higher low. The first step at getting potentially a beginning of a reversal. Like there's a good chance of that. But obviously, you got to think about invalidations. If we break below here, start to close below it and make a new low, guys, I'm going to say that there's probably a good chance that we're in a recessionary period, and we're probably going to have to wait for the Fed to bail us out, unfortunately, or for the tariffs to ease up. I know it's bleak, but I'm just telling you guys what I'm seeing in these markets. And if you see us go into a recessionary period, you should probably expect Crocoin to break down and probably test 0.0689 cent. Doubt it goes much lower than that. There's so many coins staked. I don't think that we'll have enough sell pressure. For the amount of sell pressure we received during the 70 billion mint, I don't expect much further of a drawdown. We can't go that much further down in the short term, okay? If we go into a recessionary period, that's going to be a whole different story. I'm going to be talking about that if we get into that phase. But as of right now, guys, I'm keeping my eyes open on 0.0830. There's about a 50-50 chance that we are going to be bottoming out here or we're breaking down, okay? So looking at Cronos, we're sitting at rank 38, down about 5.30% in the past week, down about 1%, not even a percent, a 0.1% in the past 24 hours, nothing. And sitting at a $2.18 billion market cap. Really don't want to see us come below a $2 billion. I think if we come below a $2 billion, that means that we're probably going to be breaking below about 7 cents. So that means that we're probably going to be heading to touch the 0.0689 cent level. But guys, as of right now, the market is a desert wasteland, like I said at the beginning of this video. Nobody's really around. It's quiet. Risk-on assets are in a pretty negative space because of these tariffs and the traditional market, guys. But you look at Bitcoin, and there are signs of hope. There are signs of hope. If the traditional market doesn't make a new low, there's a good chance that we come up here and test 88K after we break down here. I still think that we're going to break down and maybe test 77,000. 78K is a good level to be looking at too before we get a bounce back up, create somewhat of a little bit of a W pattern and come and test 88,000. I really don't want to see us close below 74K. If that happens, then the S&P 500 is making new lows as well. It's so incredible that Bitcoin trades like the traditional market now. That's what happens when you get all these spot ETFs. Bitcoin starts to trade like a stock. But guys, this is the overall picture, all right? The tariffs pushing the market down, already in overall negative overarching macroeconomic environment, okay? The tariffs can be turned on and turned off in a snap of a finger. The Federal Reserve is getting closer and closer to pivoting to quantitative easing. I do expect some relief coming relatively soon by the end of 2025 if we are not in a recessionary period. And if we do get into a recessionary period during 2025, I expect the Fed to step in and probably pivot to quantitative easing and turning that money printer on. But we'll probably be going through a little bit more pain for a little bit longer. But if that happens, we're going to be making videos. We'll be talking about that and give you guys my opinion on how we're going to navigate those markets. But as of now, we're going to be looking at this market underneath a microscope and figuring out what is happening. be patient, guys. Be patient. The biggest winners are the people that buy when it's a quiet, silent time. You get rewarded. You get rich in bull markets. You get wealthy in bear markets, guys. That's all I got. Follow me at 333blacksea on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel right now. That's all I got. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.